Hello, I'm Feline Conrad, an actress in Germany. And in the last years, I spoke up against the separation of society, about some decisions, the politics made, and decisions, what happened if you decided personally against a pressure and you didn't want to take part of it. So there were many restrictions, at least we couldn't do our jobs as artists. And on the other hand, if you spoke up against the politics, you felt even more restrictions. So as you can hear, English is not my mother language, so I have to think about more while speaking. But I hope you get the message. And why I do this video is because I was invited to the City Hall of Erfurt in East Germany. There was a discussion, a public discussion, organized by the International Martin Luther Foundation, and there were a few people from the church and a doctor and me speaking up for the cultural, institutions and artists. So we got a question before, and we had 5 minutes time to answer. It was like the opening of the discussion. So I want to read to you first of all, the question and then my text. The question was, what particular experience, insight, even during the Corona years, from the beginning of 2020 to the beginning of 2023, moved, occupied, influenced you with great strength and intensity? First, personally, privately, and second, professionally, officially. I'm pleased to have been invited to this discussion and have the opportunity to speak here. Thank you very much. The issue I want to talk about is art, culture, the connecting element of society, the gateway to emotions, feelings, social and personal reflection, debate, liveliness, leisure, and devotion. In short, life. I would like to introduce myself. I'm a seeker, a denier, a Nazi, right, reckless, and selfish. I'm stupid, a scavenger, and denier. I'm a silly pig, to label and supposed to wear stickers. I'm an endangerer, a murderer, and an angel of death. I'm an opponent. Opponent against what? I'm a grouser, a dark figure, and should disappear in a hole I crawled out of. I'm a social wrecker and stupid. You know the reasons for these labels. Good evening. Here I am, and together with you in one room. That's wonderful, because for a long time it wasn't possible. I wasn't allowed to get in. Although I like to talk and discuss and exchange ideas with others with curiosity. That there was no opportunity was sobering, isolating, and a shame. No, I don't think we've vaccinated ourselves back into freedom, Mr. Spahn. Contrary-wise, I personally feel tightness, scissors in the head, closed hearts, and the self-made declaration to be on the right side. We have been separated. 60 million against 20 million, 3/4 versus 1/4. And that goes beyond the topic Corona. It's a burning glass of the current time. The topics are exchangeable. But I would like to ask you, don't you also have the impression that something is wrong in our country? At the moment, something is going damn wrong. But this isn't about me. It's about society. The togetherness, and how we treat each other. Above all, however, it is about art, as a mirror of society. It should point out and warn when a community is drifting apart. But it was silent. The silence was louder than the screams of the women giving birth under FFP2 masks. The silence was louder than hungry people standing in the streets in front of locked food counters. The silence was louder than the queues outside hospitals on cold, rainy days, or the people kneeling on cold stones in front of churches during services in winter. The silence was louder than the nervousness of the children in the Cologne Cathedral waiting for their injections. The silence was louder than the cries of the people dying alone behind plexiglass in their beds. You may already be feeling a strong rejection of my words. That's fine. I didn't come to please, and also not for applause. I came because our society has become damn important to me over the past 3 years, especially when inhumanity is proclaimed as the new normal. I feel sadness and compassion for our entire country, for both countries we once were. There are differences. The political spirit is active, in some parts more than in others. I have compassion because we are a traumatized nation, a traumatized society, and the last few years, months, and weeks have shown it. We carry hatred, devaluation, and arrogance within us. That is painful to watch. You notice my text is emotional. I don't want to polarize. It happens by itself, just by naming that something is wrong in our country. Of course, that is my opinion. You're welcome to have a different one, but you won't get mine. And I would change it if you don't like it. I'm amazed and irritated by our society and what it has shown over the last 3 years. Not that these things happened, but that the majority kept silent and people with different opinions were agitated, slandered, and despised. That fundamental values and beliefs are violated. Words and deeds don't match. But what helps us to have conversations again? I think music, concerts, theater, films, dance, all forms of art that were forbidden for more than a year, that are still restricted today, and we, artists, were no longer allowed to work in our professions, in some cases still not today. Shared experiences with unknown people in a room. In short, closeness. Plunge into deeper spheres of consciousness, understand that you can't live without each other and there will be no without each other. And that's not possible via a video stream. Anyway, I'm glad to see each and every one of you here, every single open, curious and inquisitive face. That's beauty, that's life. And maybe there's one or the other here who at least a little feels addressed by my words. I'm looking forward to the conversation.